it wasn't obvious by now, I think it's clear to see that I've been really enjoying my journey here in Raid Shadow Legends. And something that recently happened that kind of blew my mind is that I got Mithrala. And I got Mithrala for free by playing in the Hydra. Over time, on a weekly basis, I got a couple shards and eventually I unlocked her. And I was pleasantly surprised that this is what Hell Hades calls a 5-star champion, which is the highest rating. This is an S tier champion. I was ecstatic. I read the kit and I was confused. And I was like, really? I don't get it. I showed Kat the kit and she goes, really? I don't get it. So we're going to talk about it because I've been playing her and I think I get it now. Now, if you have not done so already, there is a link in the description where you're going to get Corrado, and then he's a legendary champion. And then you're also going to get 2 epic support champions. The first one happens at level 15, which is going to be Ugo, and Ugo puts debuffs out there and cripples the opponents. And then the next one that you're going to get at level 30 is Tagore, which has a team revive, also does some healing and a bunch of other fun stuff. And then this is also of vital importance. You have the option of selecting one of the 5 promo codes in the first 24 hours of your journey on Raid Shadow Legends. This is brand new right here. Desert Queen, best champion I think they've ever offered for free. Essentially, you'll be able to start in your Raid Shadow Legends journey right out of the gate with 2 legendaries and 2 epics, which is a good start. And then eventually, you'll get her unlocked for free. This just blows my mind. So let's talk about why she's so good. It is very nuanced, and when I read the kit, I really didn't get it. But after playing for a little bit, it's pretty clear there's some key parts to her kit. First, right here, also increases this champion's resistance, res. The amount by which it has increased is equal to the amount of accuracy the champion has. So this game has resistance and accuracy. Accuracy is her ability to apply negative effects to the enemy, and resistance is her ability to resist their abilities. And it always goes against each other. Their accuracy versus your resistance, your accuracy versus their resistance. But in her case, her resistance is boosted by the amount of accuracy. So I went all out and I put a ton of accuracy on her, and that is added to her resistance. So we got 529 accuracy, which means she's going to have a very good chance of landing negative effects. The highest I've had to need in this game is 550, and I'm sure over time I will get that number over 550. And that was like in the Doom Tower, in the very top levels of the Doom Tower, which I used her, and she was a superstar. And that adds to this 149 resistance that they add together, meaning negative effects are not going to be applied to her. Why is that important? Because her key function is to keep negative effects off of her teammates by cleansing them, removing all debuffs from all allies. And this is on a 3-turn cooldown. This is something I did not have in my account, and I was running into a lot of problems inside of Chimera and in Hydra, in Doom Tower, almost everywhere. And that's the reason why she's so good, is that she has a 3-turn cleanse. She's not getting negative effects generally on herself, and she's going to be keeping them off of her teammates. But that is just one reason, because legendary champions often do multiple things well, and she absolutely does. Alongside of removing all debuffs from all allies, then place a 25% strengthen buff as one of the more powerful mechanics in Raid Shadow Legends, where basically it says that incoming damage is reduced by 25%. On top of the extra defense she's going to give in her other ability. On top of the shields that she's going to give. So this is going to make the team way more resilient, and they're going to have a lot more sustain and survivability. Strengthen is going to reduce incoming damage by 25%, and a shield buff equal to 30% of the champion's max HP on all allies for 2 turns. If you've ever fought against Scarab, she is amazing versus Scarab, and my understanding, with the right pieces of gear so that she can heal herself, she can solo the Scarab. Think about that for a minute. It's kind of a big deal. So she's going to be cleansing the team. But there's more. What else is there? Hex. And Hex in itself isn't that great of a negative effect, but there's a ton of champions that capitalize on Hex. And the way Hex works is when you hit targets with Hex, they all take a little bit of damage, but it's not a lot of damage. But if you can get Hex on everybody, when you hit the main target, you will see all of the other enemies with Hex take damage as well. But that's not why it's good. It's because there's ways with other characters that really take advantage of Hex. Also, places a 60% increased defense, which means that their defense number is going to go up, which means less damage, and a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns, which if they are an attack-based champion, they're going to do more damage. What I really like about this more so, though, is this increased defense buff will boost the damage on defense-based characters. Some characters' damage are based on HP. Some characters' damage is based on defense. Some characters' damage is based on attack. And so this right here will boost the damage on defense-based characters, which I love to use. I want to show that in a video, but it's a character that not a lot of people have. So I don't know how helpful that is. I'm going to try to show characters that many people do have when we go into the Doom Tower today. But there are a lot of situations where that is very good. Now, let's get into the rest of her passive, which is whenever this champion is attacked by enemy under a Hex debuff. And then this part here is whenever an ally is attacked by enemy under Hex debuff. When they attack her, it's a 50% chance of applying petrification, which is a super fancy stun. There's some more nuance to it for sure. They take less damage, blah, blah, blah. They can get positive effects. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but it's a fancy stun essentially. And this will work 50% when they're hitting her and 30% when they're hitting them, right? So that is very good. And then lastly, she actually can do some damage with the poison debuff. Attacks 2 times at random. Each hit has 80% chance of playing a 55% poison debuff for 2 turns. So that is fantastic. Poison is also pretty useful against most bosses. And then when paired up with Brimstone right here, she actually can do some damage to the boss. And the same thing with her Mastery Tree, where if you go and do, what is this called? Warlord? War Master? You can actually do some damage. She has been helpful nearly everywhere that I've used her, knowing what she does. She keeps my team alive, she gives them shields, and she keeps them clear of negative effects, and then she synergizes well with Hex champions, and I suppose to a certain degree poison champions, but we're going to use her with Hex champions. And I have one myself, but I don't think a lot of people have Mitch, which I kind of want to show off because she's so good, but we'll try Aketum. We'll sub in Aketum, which has some synergy with Hex for sure. Not quite the same, but still does a lot of really cool things with Hex, right? I think you may have a good Hex champion in your roster, and you're going to want to use her with them. So let's go into Doom Tower. Unfortunately, Doom Tower just reset, but I was doing this on the very top parts of the Doom Tower because as we get close to the top of the Doom Tower, the accuracy requirements to land negative effects is through the roof. It just gets higher and higher. I think for Geomancer, I had to do 550, and I think I'm going to have to do 550 on her to be effective. And this is like a team I'm using to climb. I don't think a lot of people have this champion. I don't think a lot of people have this champion, but a lot of people have these two. This is either promo code or free login. And then we've also got Alice, which is a free login champion. But the other two are replaced with some characters that do similar functions. Deacon Armstrong, which is epic. Hopefully you found him. If you don't have him already, you probably will. And then for damage, we're going to use Aketum. We're going to go into battle, and I'm going to say, unfortunately, what I'm going to showcase here is largely going to showcase the power of Sun Wukong and Alice because they do a lot of damage. But at some point, I'm not going to be able to depend solely on that, right? You know, we're going to need some help. But Alice does a lot of it, right? Okay. So far, lots of negative effects out there. They're dead. See when they run out of a little bit of gas. At some point, Sun Wukong and Alice are going to run out of gas, and we're going to need some help here, right? Look at that. They got shields. We got blessing. We got all kinds of good stuff. We have no negative effects on our side. We're just rushing through them quite quickly, right? Got some poisons placed out there. She's keeping all the negative effects off the team. And I got to tell you, as one goes higher and higher up in this, keeping the team clear of negative effects is of high importance. And then what I've also been finding, we're going to go in with a little bit slower team here. Let's turn that off. We got too much damage going on here. I want to do it a little, let's do it a little bit more challenging here. Why don't we remove Alice? Because Alice was doing a lot of the damage, right? And I think Alice is very good, but let's just put in another support champion, kind of slow things down a little bit and see how it goes. We're going to leave some Wukong in there, but we're going to use like a healer reviver. This is going to be a much, much slower battle here. And so this is going to feature what Mythral is going to do. I specifically want to showcase what happens with the petrification. So now they have Hex everywhere, right? And what's going to happen is as they come in and do damage, they're going to start, oh, they're going to get exploded. So Wukong's so good. Oh my God. Stop killing them. So Wukong, stop killing people so I can showcase how good she is. I think it's because we're on the lower tower levels. But this absolutely matters. Uh-oh, block revive. Like he's not coming back. He's not coming back. So we're not going to get a lot of the synergy there with Akeem and her. Because he's dead, right? Okay, let's see here. Oh, look at that HP burn. It's going to be gone here pretty soon, right? All right, we're going to keep going. All right, we're still not seeing the petrification. These matches are going too quickly. Oh, this also helped me a ton in Faction Wars. Well, what I was trying to show you is on the higher levels of the Doom Tower, you can't just explode them. It's not the way it works. Like what I'm showing you here is that because it just reset, you know, I'm having my damage dealer like Sun Wukong is just plowing through these guys. So there's not a lot of situation where they're retaliating and you know, presenting problems. But what happens is they end up getting petrified. Because when they attack, it's a 50% chance when they attack her, and it's a 30% chance when they attack the other ones. And that really means that the enemy over there just gets kind of like locked up, and it gives time for my damage dealers to get through it, right? So this is all because of her passive, and the petrification is very important. Ally attacked 30%, and when she's attacked 50%. So that will happen, and I don't see it happening here because Sun Wukong is just exploding them, right? Is what's happening right now. Well, there we've got Hex on there. If they don't survive that, all right, but they're essentially taking more damage because that. Oh, see, there's petrification right there, right? And he's dead. Well, he's a sheep, so that's like removed from the game. I don't know if you ever played Magic the Gathering where you remove a card from the game. It kind of feels like sheep is they're removed, right? And then they come back, right? But they were like kind of out of commission for a while. We got poisons, which is gonna be fantastic, and there we go. We got through it. And no, we didn't get through it. Anyways, big fan of this champion. The way that this champion was explained to me when I was talking to some veteran players on stream is, yeah, there's a lot of newer legendary champions that do similar things. And so a lot of people have had access to newer legendaries that do something similar or even better. And so they're saying that her kit on some ways has been power crept. But then when I asked him, he's like, oh yeah, but you're gonna use her everywhere. I was like, do you have a debuffer? I says, not really. And they're like, oh no. You're gonna use her everywhere. So there's Petrified that's basically stunned right now. Fantastic. And it's true. I just really didn't have a good cleanser. So free champion, participate in Hydra, specifically in the ones where your clan is doing the max damage. That way you get double rewards, right? That's kind of a thing. And then I'm going to throw in my normal team because I kind of want to just show how quickly it goes on these early stages, you know, because I'm doing damage. And a lot of these are my arena characters also. Like this is my clan boss character. This is a clan boss character. These two are arena characters. I'm using her almost everywhere seriously almost everywhere. That's a good thing. And it just flies. I think that we're going to get a lot of damage from my main damage dealers. And then if it makes it this far, they're going to get locked out, you know what I mean, by the rest of them. And I just think that's fantastic. So if you're not done so already, use the link to start playing Raid Shadow Legends. This game is fun to play, free to play. Absolutely fun to free to play. If you do want to spend money, there's lots of ways of doing that for sure, but you absolutely do not have to. Got Ugo at level 15, which is also an epic support champion. Love that guy or gal. And then Tagore, which has really helped me in Faction Wars, also Team Revive. I just got Tagore, so I haven't played Tagore as much, but when I have used Tagore in Faction Wars, has proved to be very helpful. More important than all of that, use Desert Queen or Monkey King. I used Monkey King, but Monkey King code's going to be going away, and this one's been around for a long time. This Desert Queen's a brand new one. Got to do that in the first 24 hours. All right, bye for now.